God level, you can tell him I said it. Level up. God level, you can tell him I said it. Level up, level up, level up. Go.
Everything, that means
everything.
Eyes connected to everything. And that's why
I'm in everything.
all eyes on me, all eyes on everything. That means
everything.
Eyes connected to everything.
That was literally like right on time. Like literally, like dude. As soon as he went to go ride,
Right there in seconds.
man. Okay, you got it. Okay, go ahead.
I was looking. I was like, oh
Yeah.
snap!
Yeah,
Like it's time.
Yeah, you was definitely right on time. He was like, we hanging back. I was like, yeah, we hang back for a little minute. You know, I was just ready. I said, you know, let me see where the princess at.
You are best. Oh my gosh! Thanks,
was just talking about my trip to Chicago. I failed to mention that I say they drive. Brothers say
they done lost their mind.
They don't be playing.
No,
they don't be playing.
They don't. Well, all right, let's go ahead and get started. This is things that people don't want to talk about, brought to you by God Level. That will be me. I am originally from St. Louis, Missouri. I am a mother. I am a nurse. I am an entrepreneur. I'm a sister. I'm an aunt. I'm a friend. I'm a cousin. I'm a Gigi. I am everything good. Ivy, you want to go ahead and represent yourself?
Sure, I can go ahead and come on in. What's going on, good people? It's your girl, Inattentive Ivy. I am a mom, a sister, friend, former military broadcast journalist. I talk about mental health, ADHD, and all the ADHD hamsters that I got rolling around in that brain of mine. And I like to advocate for communities of color with mental health. And as always, I'm going to share my healing journey and share my shit so we can all keep it a buck. And maybe somebody, you know, like, yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. Salute.
John Sky. Oh my God, I'll be messing your name up.
John Skywalker, Sky Talker here. Lyricist, spoken word artist, martial artist, personal trainer, lover of life, joy, and psychology. And I'm a father with 5 hip hop albums on all major music streaming platforms. Go listen to that now. John Skywalker, John Skywalker, John Skywalker, salute.
Salute. King Newborn, you want to go ahead and represent yourself?
Peace. This is King Newborn. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Newborn Everything. And as always, I am that I am of service to the community, to family, friends, and loved ones. And always, we appreciate you. Welcome back. Peace.
That's what's up. Sherm, you want to go ahead and represent yourself?
Absolutely. I am Sherm. Sherman Vaughn is really my name. Not as decorated as these beautiful people, but I love hearing the introductions. I really gotta step my game up. But all in all, I'm just a guy that's trying to pass some good knowledge. That's it.
That's it. That is it. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, podcast is about, where is the topic at? Throw that up. What does it mean to be authentic?
Well, our topic is, how do you know that you're being your true self? But we're going to start off with the definition. That's the definition right there. That's how we're going to kick it off. You know, let's just figure out what this thing is that we're talking about. Being true to yourself and authenticity and all that. Keeping it real. What does that mean?
What does it look like for you? Go ahead. Who want to take a stab at that first?
Well, to be authentic, my God, it's to show the only light that you got. It's really all you got, because nobody can be you better than you. Never let me miss out on something like that. I love meeting people. I love talking to people. I love the conversation. I love the idea of love. I'm true to my nature. But never let me miss out on the only light that you can bring. Nobody else can be you. Nobody can try. They can try every day, but every day they would lose. You wake up the next day and you may like something different. You may be something different. So just be who you are, because it's important. It really is.
I love that. I love that. King Newborn.
What you say, Miss Tanner?
I ain't said nothing. I'm being quiet. Believe it or not, I'm just gonna soak up all of this energy,
Man,
especially for the second. I just want to hear. I just want to hear what everybody else got to say. I am
that
interested.
That part.
I am listening attentively.
And I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Authentic.
Mm.
For me, just to know yourself. That's it. Just to know yourself. It's not negative. It's not positive. Just know yourself. You know your triggers. You know your do's. You know your don'ts. You know your traumas. You know your happy days, sad days. Just know yourself. Period.
Mm. When you say know your traumas, I was just having this conversation with a young lady at work, when it comes to being authentic. And I told her a lot of us are not walking around in our authentic selves because of the trauma that was that we dealt with coming up. So we have created certain behaviors that we do in our adult life that we don't know is connected to those traumas that happened back when we were children, or even as a young adult. And I was given an example. Oh God, I gave an example from my experience. I was offered a doll to go in the room, and that's as far as I'm going to take it. So from that moment on, I became the giver instead of the taker. So it's like no strings attached. So I've been surrounded by a lot of takers and refused to take from anyone because I was afraid. And that was just a behavior that I created back when I was a little girl. I said, that's why I don't like to take. But when you do that, you're stopping the flow of prosperity in your life because money flows in and money flows out. Gifts flows in and gifts flows out. If I'm going to always give, why won't I allow myself to receive? So that was something that I connected with my childhood. So yeah. So no, a lot of us are not walking around in our authentic selves. We've been through some things where we were genuine and pure then until becoming tainted. If that makes any sense.
Getting that original download, that other download.
So yeah.
All right. I think being authentic, I think it involves knowing it. I like the self-knowledge, right? I like that approach. I like that definition. I like that quality, right? It is about knowing and understanding yourself, but it's understanding yourself through what your core values are. What are your beliefs? What are your expectations? What are your emotions? What are your intentions, your purpose, your life purpose? It really is about understanding who you are and navigating who you are in the environment, right? When I think about what it means to be authentic, I think about a heightened self-awareness, or maybe not heightened, but at least a consistent self-awareness, a self-monitoring.
Mm-hmm.
I think it involves honesty, being vulnerable. I think authenticity means being consistent in your values, your beliefs, your activities. I think it's about having integrity. Now, honesty and integrity, they're not really the same thing. When we talk about honesty, we're talking about being vulnerable. When you're talking about integrity, a house has integrity. A car has integrity. Like it's composed of all these moving part systems. So we are systems in all in one. We have all these subsystems that compose of us, the self, right? So I think there is, integrity there. I said vulnerability. I think about courage. I think about authenticity as an exercise of courage. I think of it as an exercise of a continuous exercise of self-acceptance, self-compassion. I think ultimately it's just about finding fulfillment. That's what it means to me. It's about fulfillment.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's transition. Let's pull out. Do we want to jump right into that?
I wanted to challenge. Can I challenge? Can I?
Yes.
Because I always like to, like to stick something in there and challenge, right? I like to challenge the idea of consistency for the spicy brain people out there who might be listening, right? Because I can tell you that, like, for people like me, I'm going to be consistently inconsistent, right? And the reason being is because of the fact that, like, I learn different things. I learn differently. I show up differently. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess if you look at my consistency is I'm going to be able to think out the box for things, right? And I just wanted to say for spicy brain people, I think an authenticity, or at least what I'm kind of coming to understand, is being able to say that that I don't necessarily have to have all the answers, and that's okay. Like, living in authenticity for me has been an exercise of putting off that mask, that I like, finding my values, like finding exactly what they are, And I said I was just going to listen. I am listening, but I just wanted to chime in and just challenge the idea of consistently. Only reason why is because, like, a lot, like my kids, they get upset with themselves, and they like to beat themselves up sometimes because of the fact that they're like, well, I try to do X, Y, and Z like all the time, but it's like they just have a challenge with that idea, of consistent. That's the only thing. That's the only thing I just wanted to pop in there. And I know that for me, it used to be a heavy point in contention, because I'd be like, man, like, when I wasn't living in my words, when I wasn't trying to challenge my thoughts and stuff, I'd be like, man, I'm never going to be able to get to a place where I'm better because of the fact that I can't consistently blah, 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 blah. And I went away from that to challenge the idea and be like, instead of saying that I have to be consistent, I have to make a commitment. Does that make any sense at all?
I'm going to say, and the reason why I'm saying it, I should have said it soft now. I shouldn't have said it so forcefully. I'm sorry. Let me pull some of that no back.
No, that's okay. I'm good with it.
So the consistent, like, all right, this water has a consistency, right?
Okay.
There's a sort of familiarity about it. You can almost predict what's going to happen by, observing it, perceiving it. But with a commitment, that requires an activity. You don't necessarily quality, right? With a commitment, that is an active thing that you have to do. So when you say, I'm committed to my marriage, I'm committed to my fitness, that is an activity, right? But the consistency is a quality, like water, like molasses, like a booty that's just kind of, anyways. So, okay, so you're making a commitment, right? You're making a commitment to yourself, to your ideals, your goals, right? The consistency, however, right, it's just the quality. Now, I've mentioned consistency because I want you to consider the people who change who they are according to the person that they're with. The person that wears different masks with different people in different situations, the chameleon. This is and I don't want us to go on a tangent, okay? This is what a lot of people hate about Drake. Who are you, right? That's what a lot of folks that are kind of, they're not anti-Drake, but that's their qualm with them. It's like, I don't know who you are musically. Okay. I don't feel like you're real. So there's a sense of uncertainty that comes with that, right? But I know what you're saying, because you're like, well, hey, John, neurodivergent people, but you guys still have consistencies about you that qualify that neurodivergency. So there's still some expectations with it, because I can expect you to be that way because you conveyed it, and then I'm observing you live what you said that So you're living it out loud. So if you say, John, I'm neurodivergent in the sense of I have all these zany ideas. I might finish some of them, and I might not finish any of them. It just depends on the situation, right? So if you tell me that, and you do that consistently, that's me saying, oh, this is who she is. I believe her.
Ah, so consistency actually for you has something to do with the quality. I always thought it had to do with the action. Look at that. I just learned something. I'm gonna be quiet now. I'm shutting up for the rest of the podcast.
Yeah, in the context of when you're trying to accomplish something, okay, I need to be consistent in my nutrition. I need to be consistent on my promises. Okay, yeah, there's an activity with that, but I'm talking about consistency as a quality. This person is consistent, like John, because he consistently executes or exhibits these behaviors, these thought processes, right? Yeah. So, but when we're talking about commitment, John is committed to his fitness. John is committed to his kids. So it's usually oriented towards something, whereas consistency is a quality.
Man, I just learned something real heavy.
I'm consistent. My ADHD friends are consistent.
Yeah.
It's just not in the typical ways, It's just not in the typical ways.
Hey, that's peace, bro. Like, for real. I really learned something. And I really am shutting the hell up for the rest of the podcast.
Because I got the consistency and the commitment from Ivy. We sat down and talked about it. It was easier for me to digest the commitment versus the consistency. But, oh, my God. But
you just broke that down. The consistency, it equals to quality. And the quality equals to being authentic. Okay, I'm gonna be quiet. I'm just gonna go on mute.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, is Ivy jam or is she honey? There's still a consistency there. What are we doing here? It's consistently thick. Okay. Right. But misconceptions about being authentic. What are some misconceptions that you guys think that people get wrong? Or I'm sorry, what are some things that people get wrong about being authentic? Because some people try too hard. They try too hard to be.
Some people think that when they are feeling powerful, like if I had the ability to cuss people out, I had the ability to walk into the office and tell and demand what you know what I'm saying? Like I had the ability to walk in here and demand what was mine and da 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 da. Like that's an idea, a misconception about being authentic. I think, and once again, I'm going to go on mute, so I'm gonna keep on. I'm listening.
That's fair.
Learning. Go ahead. I'm listening.
You're learning. All right, King, what you got?
For me, just being your authentic self, period. It's not still for me. It doesn't deem it to be guaranteed to be positive.
Okay. In terms of like the outcomes.
Yeah, the outcomes, but then also, like you just said, the consistency, the quality, and then the action associated with it. The misconception of it is that the origin of oneself, like you said earlier, to have certain moral values. Well, if you take time out to watch certain children just playing, period, you got some kids that interact with others. You got some that stay to themselves, and everybody's still having fun though, but they moving about in their own authentic way. You understand what I'm saying? And then you got the one that's over there, Johnny. Oh my God, man! Can you go get your boy? Put that down, man. You know what I'm saying? He studied tearing up stuff. He just destructive, but that's just him. It's something in him. It's something written in his DNA. He just like to break shit. Period. I'm just saying, but he is very, very consistent in that. Like it's something in him that drives him to be like, smash, Hulk smash. Just he don't know why. He just keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? So that's my little take on it.
Sure. What you got? Misconceptions about being authentic.
Is my screen up?
You're good. You're good.
All right. I got to stick along the lines because everything else was explained outside the realms, and I'm learning a lot with this one. some misconceptions about being authentic, being accepted by a group of people, because all of those people could be wrong. I'm not gonna yell out any names, but it's a lot of people. Misery loves company. Let's start there. I'm not gonna make it long. Keep it short. But misery loves company, and some people get in certain echo chambers that ain't telling them the truth. They just want them to be around. So I think a misconception about being authentic is being around a whole bunch of people that like the mask that you put on, because you couldn't be yourself. So
Shots fired.
with all that being said, I'm just saying, going back to what I learned from King Newborn. Gotta put the king there first. You gotta know your
over there
trauma.
growling.
You gotta know your trauma. You have to know your traumas, and you have to know what triggers you. I think that's the quickest way to figuring out who you are. Knowing those two first. Know the danger first. The good, that's gonna come naturally. In my eyes. But I'm learning.
That's peace.
I'm gonna have to make that a clip.
But I'm telling you.
That's
Second
peace.
of all,
That
because
was
of the fact
clear.
that Newborn is over here like, "Mrrr."
Yeah, that's a clip.
I'm like, come with it, bro. Come with it.
So
Nah,
I have
he touching something because me and this gentleman, you know what I'm saying? Me and Sherman, the Shermanator, you know, I'm sorry, I gotta put that
Absolutely.
up, bro.
No, it's
But the basis of our friendship, how it developed, when he met me, I'm through and through who I am. Even when I try to be docile, I'm still, I'm still me.
Yeah.
I'm still me. But the piece about it is to never give off a misconception of your authentic self, which is what Miss Tanner and Skywalker were pointing out. When you masking who you are to where your identity does not match with that person that you portray. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can hold that story for as long as you want, but some way, somehow, something in life, from a realistic standpoint, will activate you, and the true you will come to the surface. There ain't nothing you can do about that. Nothing. Nothing. Because the reaction you're gonna get, who the fuck is this?
Exactly.
Where you come from?
That part, yeah.
Well, no,
Go back and get Joy. I don't even know what's going on here. I don't even know who this is.
I
feel that. I definitely feel that.
Yeah.
So I got a few, right? I got probably a handful. One at the top that's kind of recent was authenticity means being brutally honest. That is a misconception.
Come on.
You don't have to be rude or insensitive
to
be authentic, man. Yeah. I mean, being authentic means being mindful of how your words, your activity, your actions, your energy, how it impacts others. So if you're being intentional and clear, right? If you're being intentional and clear, you're probably going to adjust yourself, understanding that, I can be who I am and not try to oppress somebody else, and vice versa, right? I also think that there's a misconception that if you change, you are no longer authentic. If we're evolving, right, our tastes, our values, our beliefs, they evolve, right? And so, but
let me go get my trash can.
Right? So we're talking about a change. When we're talking about evolution, chill, man.
That was dope.
Yeah.
Killing it.
When we evolve, when we mature, right, it doesn't mean that who we were previously was fake. It's just at that time I was learning. At this time, this is what I believed in. I actualized this, I affirmed this, and I held it here. And then I realized, this doesn't work as good as I think it could be. Let me improve on the design. So you can improve. and be authentic. I think another misconception is that authenticity is about being completely transparent. You don't have to be so open, right? Because we were talking about boundaries, and some people would, try to manipulate that idea that, oh, you're being real. Well, why can't you be real with me about this? It's like, well, I'm choosing not to because of my reasons and you. But hey, I love you too. So I'm gonna share this little bit right here and you're gonna leave me alone, right? So that's another thing. Authenticity doesn't mean being super nice all the time, super pleasant and so amicable. Because I can express my real raw emotion of frustration at your incompetence and still resolve the conflict. Just say, hey, I had this feeling, but this feeling does not have me. I had this thought about you, this perception, I made this mistake, but that doesn't define who I am. I think I had one more. There was one more out there. Authenticity means rejecting all social norms. That's a misconception. You do not have to be like, I don't care what society says. We talked about that, right? We say things like, I don't care about what people think about me. But we do. We do.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
There is a drive for social acceptance. And if you want to be socially accepted, then that means you have to care a little bit about what somebody thinks about you. So, yeah.
I got to piggyback.
Okay.
I got to piggyback. In this world and the next, you don't create your own perception. You are what you do. So always try to be authentic. Always try to be yourself. Because the truth doesn't need an explanation. You don't improve. If you're being yourself, you don't have to. You don't have to lie. You can always be who you are. Always.
Yeah.
I like that.
And what they say, and if you don't like the show, change the channel.
I had to grab my church fan. I had to grab my church fan. Y'all are what? What?
I'm just gonna. I was just talking about each and every last one of these gentlemen today. And I said today, when I was talking to the young lady about the podcast, I said all the men that I have on my podcast are top tier. Top tier. I always revert back to the first time I met my brother. When talking with him, I thought to myself, whoa, what type of men have I been hanging around? What the hell? Just his mind and the words and the conversation. I was like, I've been hanging around some bums. They're like,
You ain't gonna call my name.
I'm just saying, the men on this show is top tier. If you want to know what a real man looks like, here it is.
There is a level of authenticity to the brothers that, like, I'm not even like, and it's kind of like authentic. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. That's fine. Go ahead and catch the back seat. You know what I'm saying? And it's not in a way that's without love. Like it is. I have to show up authentically for myself. You know what I mean? And it's been a pleasure to watch that. I'm not even gonna lie to you, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure to be associated with that. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean it. Yeah. Okay. What are some reasons? Whew, can I chime in? Because I saw one day hit like here in the group when you asked this question in the group, and the young lady said, for Black women, for women of color, safety. That one right there hit me like a ton of bricks. Because I think about, okay, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I know for me coming up, one of the reasons why I felt like I had to fit into this mold is because, like I've talked about it a million times here on the show. You gotta make sure that you get a husband. That was the name of the game. Wasn't to grow, to do something wonderful, to give to society. It was none of that. You got to catch a husband, right? Period. And the reason being is because you are the weaker vessel. and you cannot protect yourself, right? So that was the reason why. That was one of the reasons why, right? So when I thought about the idea of safety and who I was molding and shaping myself into, because of the fact that I didn't feel safe, because everybody told me I was not safe. This is after doing 3 tours overseas. This is after doing 20 something years in the military, you know, learning level 1, level 2 combatives. Like, this is after all of that. I still felt that idea of, for some reason, I wasn't intrinsically safe. So I had to become something that I wasn't in order to find somebody to take care of me and to be safe. And it hit with me so hard, man. It just hit so hard. I mean, because once again, being a woman of color, not only being just a woman of color, but not only just being a woman, but also being a woman of color. Like, it's, you know, like the hierarchy, man, the most one behind my brothers. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're just starting to find our value, because our value used to be attached to who we were attached to, or what it was that we could provide to everybody else except for us. So I felt that. I just wanted to say that out loud. So whoever answered that, for real, shout out.
Yeah, that was
Shout
Christine.
Yeah.
By the way, y'all, audience members, join our group, things that people don't want to talk about. So I'm going to share some of the comments from this question. Fear of rejection, a lack of knowledge of who their authentic self is, afraid of judgment, saving other people's feelings, fear or lack fear of losing something or someone they have, lack of self-validation. They think to look outside of themselves for validation is the way, and it isn't. Social pressures. You can't be yourself in corporate America. The code switch is real. Intimidation of others, or to fit in because they don't feel good enough to be their true selves. Easier to be in the crew. Fear of judgment, rejection, and criticism. King Newborn said no knowledge of self, not clear on their own identity as a being. Ivy said shame. Yeah, the shame of living without the ego to guide us in societal ways. What y'all got?
Acceptance.
Yeah.
That's what it seemed like. All of those came back to.
Yeah.
The fear of, the fear of yourself, the fear of not wanting to be yourself, the fear of rejection. It all sounds like acceptance. I just want to be accepted into what I think is better for me. Now, what you know, because you have no information to bounce that off of. You have no concrete facts that this group is better for you. Being yourself is better for you. But if you don't have that example, everything exterior explains everything interior, and that's not how it goes. You have to bring everything that's interior to the out so you can paint. You got to show your mural. You got to show your paint. You got to show who you are. Like I said, that's important. It's more important than what you think. And it's not only important to you.
I want to.
You got it.
I'm gonna throw this out here real quick, and hopefully we can gravitate to it. Miss Tanner might be able to piggyback off of it. I know John here; he can definitely underline it. So one thing I find out in our community, the moment we hit a trauma, a snag, or some type of just like real deep pain, whether it's from a relationship, family, or even a job, we will stop being our authentic selves, as if that legs us up from being hurt again. And it doesn't. It doesn't at all. Because now you're just searching for the pain. You ain't even tapped into yourself no more. And that's just a safety measure. Just something to think about. I know somebody got something on that.
Oh, you already know, right? Because I was going it is not even so much, because I agree with you, right? It's like human beings. First of all, thank you, Nancy. Nancy, absolutely love Nancy. Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you. Thank you. But I just wanted to state that human beings in general, we are used to being comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And once you hit a pain point, some people can't move past the pain because they're like, I can't move past it because it hurts too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, remember when you were little and you touched the hot stove and they would say, your parents would tell you, oh, it's hot, right? And you'd be like, yeah, I don't want to touch that stove no more, right? So you don't touch the stove without realizing it wasn't necessarily meant for you to touch the stove. You were just supposed to feel the heat and get the lesson from that and then keep on moving. Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm just like saying, I'm human. And I know that I stayed in pain, not even sometimes recognizing that I was in pain because everybody else around me was in pain too. You know what I'm saying? And everybody else was like, oh, I touched the stove, don't want to touch the stove anymore, and stayed at that point where they touched the stove instead of realizing they were just supposed to get the lesson because it was too painful. And pain just, either you press into the pain or else you just run away from it. That whole entire fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. You know what I'm saying? You freeze to the pain. You run from the pain. You, instead of pushing through it. So I hear exactly what you're saying. And I'm just, my only counter to that is people are comfortable sometimes even with being uncomfortable and just don't want to touch it. That's all I had. That's it. But I agree.
Fear of failure, I think, is a good reason why. Well, not a good reason, but it is a legit reason why people choose not to be themselves. Even just with identifying with being a failure, right? I identify with being a failure because that's what was told to me as a child. I received those messages, I internalized them. And so as I developed and I sought approval from my peer group, I started to make a commitment to not being aligned with anything that resembles a failure. And so I actually fear that, right? So there's an adverse effect. I'm afraid of being labeled a failure because that creates an internal conflict between who I really want to be and who I have been told or conditioned to believe that I was supposed to be. So I've been conditioned to believe that I'm a sinner, and we're not going there. We're not going there. Leave that alone. Leave it alone. I'm just throwing it out there. That is not right.
I was reading what she wrote. Oh, go ahead.
And I had to grab my church fan because both of what you said and Nancy, good Lord.
Yeah.
But I'm not good enough. I'm not fast enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm a failure, right? You failed me. So you hear those messages, and so as you develop, you want to dissociate from being a failure, but you're dissociating not from a desire to be successful, but a fear of being a failure. And so I can't be my true self because I'm more caught up trying to avoid being a failure. And you know, when you're driving, it's a lot more work to try to avoid the hazards than to just pursue where you want to go. It's easier and more efficient for you to just put the wheel where you want it to go. It will go there. But if you spend more time trying to avoid, because that's fear. If you're avoiding, you can't pursue. Chase, attract. Because I'm busy avoiding and bobbing and weaving. Anyways.
Oh, perfect.
This is a good one.
Man. Yeah, you know something, Cosmos, preach, bro. Because when you have all of yourself and who you are out there, I have realized it is so much easier to live authentically when you have already said who you are. You know what I'm saying? But like nobody can hold anything about who you are over your head. You know? Like that thing that I used to hold shame from. Nah, I mean, I already talked about that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know who I am. My people know who I am. You know, and I held shame over for like a completely and totally unrelated reason. You know, I was the only one who was holding that. Everybody else didn't give a shit. I was the only one who cared. So when you free yourself from that, and you feel like you don't have anything else to hide, yeah, you can finally live in your freedom. Go ahead, girl. Go ahead.
I wanted to go back to what you and Dion were saying. Do not allow that pain to hold you back. People get comfortable in that pain. They live in that pain. The ruminating thoughts and they allow that to dictate how they choose to move forward. And I take care of people, listen to me, who have allowed certain things that have happened to them in their life to dictate how they move forward. And they literally gave up. Don't allow that pain, don't allow that one situation to dictate how you move forward. Learn the lesson from it. There's a lesson in everything. Take it, apply it, move forward, but do not stand there and stand in that bullshit and say, woe is me.
Look, he about to start. I saw it. I saw it on his face. Go ahead.
We coughed.
Let me get my church fan. Hold on. Let me get my church fan.
Go ahead.
I just want to say, you know what I'm saying? Peace. God level. You hit something like bullseye, dead center. And this might trigger some people. Respectfully. Just because you failed don't make you a failure. It just means that you didn't present the authentic best version of you, which is what Master Skywalker was speaking on earlier. You didn't put the authentic quality, the consistency of you when you commit to yourself, your authentic self, when you commit to that version of you.
Yes.
Can't nothing stop you. Just like Cosmo said, can't nothing stop you. When you immerse yourself 100% in who you are, you immerse yourself 100% in who you are, which means you accept your failures. Because your failures, like God level said, those was lessons. Lessons to help you understand you got more homework to do. That's it.
Yes.
It's not an underlining thing that said you're done. You're out of here. You ain't supposed to be here. Quit. No, it don't mean any of that. I'll step back.
No, I just want to go back to what you said when you were committed to your authentic self. That means that everything that has happened to you, you built up a shield. You're going to have to go back and tear all that shit down.
Come on.
Yeah, because you need all of it.
To the root of who you are.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us is moving. We're moving in our trauma and not even knowing it.
Sure, like Master Skywalker said.
I used to be that way. Took a hit and keep on going. Took a hit, keep on going. Took a hit, keep on going. And then I look back and heard all the shit that I failed to acknowledge come rushing back. So now I'm in a point in my life where I'm trying to get to the genuine, that pure, that my authentic self. I got to destroy all them walls I put up. I gotta kill all those self-limiting beliefs that I told myself. I have to challenge myself on a daily basis. Get to the root. I gotta get to the core of who I am, and I cannot, for the life of me, to allow a situation that, even though it was painful, stop me from moving forward and living my best life. Can't do it.
And can I piggyback off of that? I need to make myself a little pig, like a pig with another pig like on top of for the piggyback, because that's Sherm's thing. Sherm's thing is piggyback, right? So I'm gonna say like make me a sign. Anyway, and I just wanted to like dig into that and just be like, hey, listen, it's gonna hurt. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna hurt when you're first coming into there, you know. But the reason why you look back and you got all that stuff that's there, if you don't live a life that's authentic up to a point, the reason why you're gonna have to look at it is because regardless of whether or not you decide to look at it, your body is going to tell you. Your body keeps the score. That's a book, and it's a great book. Your body keeps the score. So you have to live in a place of authenticity, or else you die. You die emotionally, spiritually, physically. It's one or the other. Living authentically helps you not just to live better, but to live. So you have to take a look at it. I just wanted to say that.
It helps you walk light.
Ooh, pack light.
Helps you walk light. Get rid of that baggage.
Ooh, come on, girl.
So let's talk about how the balance between social expectations and authenticity when they conflict. Because again, right, you're an individual that's surrounded by individuals, and those individuals have expectations just like you do. And you're trying to be you, and they're trying to be themselves or whatever. But we all have these social contracts, some of them that we are aware of, and some of them that we're not aware of in terms of them being violated, right? So I think this is a good question right here. We say to, again, we think and we express it often. I don't give a about what anybody thinks about me.
Yeah, you do.
But then you do, right? So I think what we really trying to say here is I'm very selective about the feedback that I receive from my family, that I receive from society. Feedback is what we need to improve. If no one's telling you how good you're doing, or if you're even meeting your mark, how do you know if you're being authentic, right? So society has to matter. I mean, Sherm was hinting at this, right? Society has expectations of us, and we as individuals have expectations of society. So in this relationship, how do we balance that out?
That's
by being open and vulnerable. I mean, honestly, because oh goodness gracious, how many times have we we just got finished talking about boundaries, people pleasing, like all of that good stuff. I think the only way the tool that I have found that works for balancing is to literally be honest with yourself and be honest with the people who are around you, and kind of know yourself and take that time to get to know yourself. Be like, look, I'm not good with such and such and such and such, so maybe I'm not going to be able to show up for you this way, but here's how I can still support you. And that's what I'm like. I'm thinking about interpersonal connections. You know what I'm saying? Like the difference between all of it. It starts with being vulnerable and actually speaking from your experience, because man, ain't nobody a damn mind reader out there, yo. You know what I'm saying? Nobody knows how I feel at this exact moment. Nobody can get into the head or body space of Ivy Nicole and be like, oh yeah, I know exactly how she's feeling right now. I have to speak on it. And I don't know how none of y'all, and I'm aloof as hell anyway, to boot. So I definitely don't know how you guys are feeling. So the main thing to that is vulnerability. I think that's my opinion, is being able to speak to your experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just my 5 cents. 4.5.
Yes. King, what you got? How the balance between social expectations and authenticity when they conflict? What tips do you have? Society is saying you should do this, but your soul, your spirit is saying, nah. How do we balance that? Because, we need people.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say one of the first things I have noticed when that happens is you shut down.
Okay.
You shut down real quick because you didn't think you had a chink in your armor, right? So you get a memo. You thought you was this, really you this. So now you have to stand back and take a look at that and be like, oh, what just happened? What just happened? Yeah, somebody's hit a alt delete that made you do a default, and you weren't expecting that. You weren't expecting that at all. And I say that because I appreciate all my life experiences, and I stand on vision, sight, what I can see. Okay? What I can see is always my past. I can always see my past. My sight currently is what's in front of me. But the vision, that's me thinking where I'm going. That's me thinking where I'm going. So when society hit me with something to remind me of what I see myself used to doing, like, dang, I ain't shit. Oh, that's the old you, sir. That's the old you. Give yourself a little grace. You done came a long way. It's okay to look back. It's okay to see where you come from. It's okay to see that. But don't lose sight of today, because the vision of tomorrow is the goal. You understand what I'm saying?
I like
you gotta
that.
stand true to that, like for real, for real.
I like that. Yeah.
And that can conflict, because sometimes somebody bring up something that you did to cause pain to someone else. And you could be stuck off of that pain. You'll constantly be holding that, taking it to your grave. You never forgave yourself of it. Matter of fact, you didn't take time to do the work, like God never said. When you look back and you see, oh man, I done put up 12 walls since that lesson. And why did you do that? Because I failed at it and I never did rebuild. I never reconstructed anything.
Right. Touch the stove.
Yeah.
You didn't even take time out to respect what was going on. And here we are 10, 20, 30 years later thinking that what I did then was right and exact, because I was standing on my truth. And my truth had no foundation. No foundation. Okay. I'm committing the cardinal sin against myself. I'm authentically doing it over and over and over and over. And like I said, somebody come along and they push that button, send you back to default. Memory, yeah. You still got to deal with it. Still got to deal with it.
Yeah.
We talked about boundaries not too long ago. So that was one of the first things that came up for me when it comes to balancing societal expectations against me being authentic. The first thing is having the boundaries there. You're you and I'm me. I need to protect me, my sense of self, and so that's why those boundaries are there. I think it's useful to evaluate the situation in terms of their outcomes. Your ego is the interface to this reality, okay? So I'm interacting with people, society, all these egos, and I have to negotiate my desires, my drives, my instincts with theirs. You have your own self-interest, I have mine. So I'm gonna have to learn some negotiation skills, huh? So if there's some social expectations, I gotta negotiate. Now, some people say don't ever, compromise yourself. I think that depends on the value of the exchange. So if someone says, hey, John, don't compromise yourself so that you can get this education, I say, this education is in alignment with who I am, and it's going to grant me the power to exercise these skills, talents, and accomplish these things. But here you are, man, get out of here. Go on somewhere. We ain't doing this. So evaluating the outcomes of that interaction. You're trying to oppress me. I'm not trying to oppress you. And what my desire aims to fulfill is not even harming anybody. So I think that's the other aspect, is clarify your values when you're trying to evaluate that conflict between society and your authenticity. I think sometimes we don't. Well, first off, I know some of us need to re-inventory our beliefs and our values. You have them for so long, you just kind of, they're on automatic. It's just like, oh, they just there, but we're not always aware that they exist, right? So I think it really helps to inventory your values, make sure you clarify them in those moments. What are the values that are at stake here? I think we get caught up in the conformity aspect too. Like, conformity is such a bad thing, but conformity is what makes this whole thing work. And people forget that part. If you have so many individualistic, narcissistic individuals in the same playing field, it really is the last man standing, or woman. So conformity is not completely bad. It's just, it needs to be in balance, Conformity allows us to organize. We got similar tastes, similar values, similar beliefs, similarities. That it keeps us together. It's like glue. It's not absolute, but it works. It functions. You got something for us, Sherman? You got something for us in terms of how to balance between social expectations and your authenticity.
I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. I have no idea what's going on, but I'm gonna try to get it under control by next time. How do we balance social expectations versus authenticity when they conflict? In my world, they don't. I just, because this is such a complex question for me, and I haven't quite mulled over it completely. Because if anything, I'm learning right now. But so I'll just bring you to my window.
Oh,
It
I love
doesn't.
that.
It never has. It never has. I
Love
can only speak from my point of view this time because I don't have, Skywalker's knowledge or. Well, you know what? I don't want to go down the line because they get embarrassed when I say things like that. But it's never affected me. I've always wanted to be me. I've always wanted to, because even when it came to video games, I always loved to create myself. I just wanted to create me because I know I'm gonna do that. I know I'm gonna do it. I know I can be it. When it came to fighting, when it came to sports, when it came to anything, I always wanted to be me. I loved being me. It's fun being me. And when and in doing that, I could touch every corner. I could touch every corner of myself and try to make my light as bright as it can, and whatever negative emotion that I feel and stuff like that, give it 12 minutes, because anything past that is me just condemning myself. You gotta move forward. You gotta be who you are. You gotta look in the mirror and love everything in there, and even the constructable, questions that you come up with when you looking in the mirror and stuff like that. If you know you need to change something, change it.
Man,
you can still love yourself doing that, but in changing, you might lose a couple of strings, which means you might lose a couple of friends. But it's better for you because, just like my man King said, sometimes you switch hats. And you got a lot more responsibility that's coming your way. Got a lot more things that you got to do. You can handle it.
Everybody can go with you. Okay.
No, not everybody can go. Not everybody can go. But this one, this whole topic and everything that I've been learning means a lot to me. So
yeah,
I'm just soaking it all up.
When you begin to focus on your authentic self, get ready to lose people along the way. It's okay. But also be ready to receive those who will help push you along the way. Just because one person is going out the door don't mean that somebody else ain't coming in and say, hey, I'll take it from here. Here you go. Here's a little nugget. Keep going. When you are committed to being your authentic self. Baby, watch the people leave. Let them leave with love and love the ones that's coming to you.
You know, I'm sorry, my bad. Just to piggyback, I read somewhere something that said that when a woman has just a handful of friends, like that, they're normally some of the healthiest people, right? Because of the fact that, it's like if your circle is if it's tight, it doesn't necessarily have to be small, but if it's like the more that you're not trying to people please just to gather a quantity of people, you're trying to reach for the quality, like Skywalker said earlier, you know what I'm saying? Like Newborn had alluded to earlier too, you know what I'm saying? Like basically what everybody was saying, just living in that authenticity just kind of makes you realize that that not everybody's prepared for that. Yeah. And us included as human beings. Just wanted to put that out there, just in case anybody is starting on the journey. Yeah.
Man, it's beautiful.
Oh, does faith serve in being authentic? Faith.
I personally think so.
Does it matter? It does. It does matter. Faith matters.
For me, faith has mattered, and it's faith in believing that there's something that's greater than myself, because I'm human, and being able to understand that there's something that works with every other human to try to mold them and shape them into these better people, or into whoever it is that they want to be. For me, that's been it's been illuminating. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, because if I can see who creator, who divine creator, who God, spirit, you know, like whatever it is that you want to call it, the universe is for me. If I can see who they are in me, then maybe I can be able to see that in other people too. You know what I'm saying? So that's my idea. And whether you have an altar, whether you sit in a pew, whatever it is, if I feel, and you kind of realize that the faith in something that's bigger than you has been there the whole entire time because it's intrinsically a part of you. Does that make sense? And if it's a part of me, it's got to be a part of you too. You know what I mean? So I can receive people's humanity and I can understand their humanity and how they might think that even when they go astray, as long as I understand that same thing that's trying to pull the best out of me is trying to pull the best out of you, whether you ignore it or not, then I can live authentically. I can live more authentically because then I'm not afraid of other people. I'm not afraid of situations. I'm not living in fear. I'm living in love instead. That's my own little 3.5 cents. And I'm gonna go on mute.
I love it. I love it.
Who got next?
She said a mouthful. Go ahead.
I'm not gonna be as long. I think it does play some type of role, but I don't. Let's say it like this, and this is respectfully. Remember that. I don't need religion to have a faith anymore. My faith is built in the collective. To know that we all are one in a certain way. We can honestly all conform to the same consciousness. We just ain't got there yet. I believe we are a beautiful people, but we lost our roots for a second. Being prisoners of war and stuff like that. It's a lot of things that we go through, but
POWs. Yep.
It'll always come back to us.
Yes,
We'll get back there. We will, and then we'll see that we are the faith.
Right. So that was the direction. Faith more as a concept, not so much as like religious institution. So that's why I meant, yeah, you were, yeah, that pressure right there. And building off of that, right, I think faith is really the foundation for authenticity. And I say that because when we're talking about authenticity, there's so many ways to exist. And so you have to make a decision in terms of this large menu, this endless menu of things that you could become. We're always becoming. And so there's faith in that. There's faith that I'm going to become something, even if it's the same thing. That's the driving force. So even when I say, whether we're talking about hope, faith, I feel like they're very interchangeable, right? But there's still a hope for more, even if it comes down to, let's say, my personal growth. So my faith in personal growth ties into my authenticity in the sense that I'm always looking for who I can become, who I can be, right? And trying to, wear that for as long as I can until it no longer functions or serves, my higher goals, my higher purpose. So I think that faith is the foundation of being authentic, regardless of, and I'm saying that in the context of believing in yourself. That's faith in yourself. Faith in yourself means you're being authentic because you believe in you so much, you're willing to express it. You're allowing it to exist. You believe so much that, hey, here it is, and I'm gonna protect it and fight for it. And if I have to die for it, well, hey, that's what it is.
Ooh,
that's why he is Skywalker.
Got my church fan. I'm gonna go ahead and pull my church fan back out.
Oh my man, y'all didn't brought tears to my eyes tonight.
There you go.
Y'all have literally brought tears to my eyes tonight several
because
times.
Authenticity is the highest frequency. It's a little bit higher than love. Authenticity hits your heart more than it hits
yes,
anything.
it is. And he's not lying.
That's what
he's
that's why
not
it's so
lying.
easy for me to be myself and to convey myself because I know I'm speaking literally from my soul. I have nothing else. So if you don't feel that vibration, it's impossible for you to feel me.
Is it fair to assume you can't love unless you're authentic? Go ahead. My bad.
It's funny he said love is the highest frequency because that was one of the questions in the group, right? King, didn't you say false to that one?
I did.
All right, explain. Let's hear another perspective.
I like that in you guys. I like that.
We're adding.
Sherman,
We're adding. We're adding. Come on, man. We're adding.
Hey, you can laugh at your creation, but think about it. Hey.
yeah. Sherman Prove, appreciate that, Sherman. And Master Skywalker put me on the spot. I love that in you, guys. But I have to concur with my brother by saying that yes, being your authentic self is a tad bit hard than love, because you can't dispel that. You can't misunderstand it. You can't fake it. When you come to full circle 360 of who you are, when you acknowledge that, some of the foundational work, it don't even exist anymore. So even trying to have faith to continue to become the better version of you or the best version of you, if you know, like Skywalker say, hey, I know I only need this much fuel to operate and maintain my work ethic. You can't dispel that. He knows that about him. He's not blind to the fact. There's no misconception to that. He knows the outcome. He knows the vision. So yeah, Sherman, I appreciate that, bro. I do try to stay away from certain words, but
Absolutely. You ain't gotta say it out.
Yeah, there you go. And Miss Tanner, I wanna add to you and God level. However we build it, we still one. That's why I'm gonna continue to say I am. I am that I am. I am comprised of all my experiences that I made decisions in, and then I'm also comprised of all the people that made decisions in my life. We're one and the same. So I'm no you without me. I'm no me without you.
Well, let's just have y'all learn in living authentically. That's kicking my ass. God dang.
That's all right.
Well, let's have y'all learn. This is gonna be our closing questions. Closing question with lessons.
Patience.
Okay. Yeah.
Patience with yourself. Show yourself some grace. When you are committed to becoming your more authentic self, this is a version of you that you haven't seen before. You're recreating yourself without all the trauma. You're just becoming pure. You're peeling back the layers, and it's like taking off a suit. Yeah, you're shining. So be patient with yourself. Love yourself. Show yourself grace. Yeah. That's it. That's all I got.
Okay. Sure.
Well, it'll be the best thing you've ever done. If you just be who you are. It's the most fun that you could ever have. It's the most accomplished you'll ever feel. Shit, quite frankly, it's the best. When you just know who you are, when you know certain things about you, you know what to get you from, keep you from being sick, or the best way you work out, or the best way you eat to fuel your body. Chicken, broccoli, and potatoes. But it's love who you are, love all of your surroundings, love the people that you hold dear and that you know that you can learn from, and understand people are not talking to you just because they want to be blue in the face. Listen, because time is a really, really big currency.
Yes, it is.
Be yourself. Keep learning. You fucking got it.
Okay. King?
I want to say along my journey in understanding, showing proof, God level put it best when you start feeling like labels. You give yourself patience. it's gonna throw you off when you see who you truly are. It's gonna throw you off because sometimes at that particular point it could be a blank canvas. It could be a blank canvas, and I say that to say, when you take time to unlearn what you have learned in order to learn, you might be starting a whole new foundation of things. Your ways, your habits, your ritualistic practice, the way you think, your moral concepts, rules, regulations, guidelines, how you govern yourself. You might peel all that off just to get a whole new canvas to really start living your authentic self. And for me, it was quite scary because for those that I deemed to be in my life superior people, I was crushed when I learned that it wasn't that. And what they was giving me was either what they was taught or what they deemed to be right and exact in the time frame that they was living. You know, but I can't fault them. And like God Love said, you gotta have patience when you learn something new versus what you thought was the truth.
Man.
Because some truths don't have no facts. They just got feelings attached to them. And people stand on those particular principles. They use their feelings to be principles. So,
feelings ain't facts.
yeah, I appreciate all my lessons. And the best lesson of all, take time out to learn that person in the mirror. They'll never forsake you. Learn that person in the mirror.
Yo, no, your star player. That's what you used to call it.
You hear me?
Star player.
Yeah.
Learn your star player, which is you when you look in the mirror. You told me that years ago.
Yeah. Who else you supposed to call on?
Don't be saying I won't be listening. Don't be saying I won't be listening.
But I remember that day because we was standing.
Barbershop.
Yeah, we was standing right by my mirror, and I told you, I said, anytime you need a star player or a sub, it's still you that you calling in for the play.
Tough.
It's still you. Fight or flight. It's still you. Negative or positive, it's still you. I need you to make a split decision right now. It's still you. Like Skywalker say, man, the consistent man, and that stuck with me since you said it, Skywalker, on this podcast tonight. Your consistency, and most of the time, people think consistency as you're continuously doing something. No, the consistency is the quality of the contents within. What's the consistency of that? See, we can play on words all day, and my man, he's a good wordsmith. So,
that is.
yeah, living your authentic self. Living in your authentic self, there's a lot of lessons that come along with it. Don't be afraid to be afraid of what you don't know. There's a lot of beautiful things out here to learn. There's a lot of beautiful things out here to learn. And shout out to Skywalker because I really struggle with the word fear, but I do respect and understand its purpose. It don't necessarily mean that I'm a scaredy cat or anything like that. Sometimes certain things can be a shock value because of what I don't know. You understand what I'm saying?
Surprise.
And I'm okay with that. Yeah. So that's peace. Yeah. So he helped me peel back a little. My bad. Go ahead, Mr. Tanner.
I was just gonna say just real quick. I have learned you either live authentically or you die authentically. You're gonna be authentic on one of them ends.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, damn. Yeah.
I mean, I'm like not even kidding. You live authentically, right? And being more authentic in your life, it helps you live a better quality of life. You know?
Yes, it does.
I mean, it's like I had said before, and like we have alluded to on here, it's like covering yourself up and living in those mores and trying to meet other people's expectations and stuff. It puts stress and anxiety on you. Nobody can exercise in that. Nobody can eat right in that. Nobody can live in their purpose like that. You can't be purposeful when you do that. So either you live authentically, or you're gonna be committed back to earth at some point in time, and you're gonna die authentically in what your purpose was to give to the circle of life. That's all I got.
All right. And something that I've learned is that authenticity is not just a destination, it's a process, right? So I believe, and this is according to my experience, I believe that to be successfully authentic, you need to be in harmony with your environment. And that should be the goal. To be successfully authentic means to be yourself harmoniously with the environment to the degree to where you don't damage, destroy, erode, eradicate, nor oppress the environment. So remember, you have to negotiate, yo. You have to negotiate. Learn to balance your authenticity with empathy, with understanding towards others, and allowing healthy, respectful relationships. Allowing that, because when you are authentic, you thrive, right? When you are genuinely authentic, there is a goal here. There's an ideal. And you're trying to reach that. This isn't perfectionism. This is a higher vision that you have for yourself, that you say, hey, I am constantly trying to attain that ideal and bring it down here and manifest it, whatever that is, right? But in doing that, don't try to dominate your environment, because that's not the goal. I am, and then we are. That's the goal.
That's the goal.
And that's what I got.
That's beautiful, man.
Man.
I am, and then we are. Wow.
I am, because we are out in a shade. Hey.
This shit is a masterpiece.
I love Sharp for that, yo. He be killing me.
That's how I feel about
We
it.
gonna have that camera fixed next week.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the last day of the retrograde.
We about to do, I'm telling you. Yes, that's right. We about to do a fish fry for the video camera. We're gonna put it together.
Oh man. Tonight was this conversation was awesome.
Yeah.
I hope everyone enjoyed it. Thank you for the comments. We didn't get a phone call in, but that's just as long as you comment. I see the watchers, the numbers is going up. I know people had some problems with getting on Facebook and watching. Please feel free to hop over to one of our YouTube pages. It's always there too. Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, we always upload to them. So yeah, tonight, man, living your authentic self. I love it. Oh my God.
real quick. Don't forget that we do have the God Level Facebook page.
Yeah.
Also,
things that people don't want to talk about. Join in on those discussions.
Big time. No, you good, God Level. I just want to share, this wave that we on, this God Level wave that we on, this things that people don't want to talk about that we on, it don't mean nothing without the community.
Yeah.
So we have to pass this along, man. Word of mouth is everything, and the more people we get involved, the more perspectives, ideas of others, personalities, and things of that nature we can all deal with. The community can heal the community if we work together. We'll get past some of the obstacles and fears that are blocking us from being our authentic selves.
Yeah.
It's okay to work together.
It
Peace,
really
love,
is.
and life is newborn,
Oh man, does anybody have anything else they want to say before we close it out?
Close it out perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
You gonna tell them about the next two podcasts? The next one's coming up? Because man, listen.
Now, are we going with can women and men actually be friends?
That's after I come back, right?
That's after you come back.
I'm so
now the next
week, my afro.
Ivy's not gonna be here, so you gentlemen can pick a topic.
Okay.
And run with it. Hey, I'm gonna be supportive. I'm gonna be in the background, like look at my
with
brother.
John at the helm. It's so easy. You have no idea how easy it is. We can just spit out stuff, and he comes up with. So it's like he has a blender. I got vegetables and I got fruit. Even though you ain't supposed to mix them, but John, whatever. Okay. All right.
I got one. The women will love this. Life without me.
Oh Jesus, that's heavy. That's heavy.
Now top L.
That's heavy. That's heavy.
Y'all gonna talk about that next week?
That's heavy.
That's whatever y'all want to do.
I was just
No,
throwing
it's
something
whatever
out
y'all
there.
want to do. It's whatever y'all want to do. Me and Ivy gonna take back seat next week. She's gonna be out of town, and I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna go to the gym.
I'm gonna be watching though.
Ain't gotta go.
That's
You
love.
ain't know.
Because
Oh
gotta
my
support.
God!
And then
All
the week
right,
after that, I'm so excited about that. Can women and men actually be friends?
Yeah,
Let's
I've
go.
already been taking a poll on that, and it's 50-50 right now. A lot of people are saying yes, a lot of people are saying no, because but you know what? We'll get into that on the podcast. With that being said, John, you got me.
Salute, y'all.
Hey.